Next. And you could put your name on a stadium, but now you can buy the naming rights to the Chicago Skyway. Is it a good idea? We'll tell you when Street Signs returns. All right, Diana, thank you. And Diana's talking about luxury homes. So our question is, what would you rather spend $3 million on? Of course, you could buy a new luxury home. You could also have your name here on the Chicago Skyway. Not a live picture, probably a little busier than that at this instant. Our question, though, is naming a highway a good way to boost your bottom line, or is it just an expensive way to see your name in the big city lights? We decided to ask Bill Schley, the author of Why Johnny Can't Brand, about that very issue. And, Bill, thank you for joining us.
Hello. Hi, Erin.
All right. We just saw a picture of the Chicago Skyway. Perhaps not the sexiest place to implant your name, but is it a good way to spend $3 million?
Well, I got to tell you that when I heard about this a couple of days ago, I wished I knew about it when we wrote our book, because we would have put it on chapter 1. The problem is that this is the problem with branding today. The advertisers and the consultants are telling companies you need to get attention at all costs, awareness at all costs. Problem is, sometimes awareness, it has to sell me, but some awareness repels me, quite literally. And I have to tell you, in this case, if you think it through and think not as a brand guru now, but as a citizen caught in traffic in Chicago, I can only imagine the higher-end benefit that I'd get from this.
Well, if that's the way we're looking at it, I would advise no one ever put their name on the George Washington Bridge here in New York. But,
yeah.
All right, what are the other ideas that would repel? Because it seems now you can pretty much, as a corporation, put your name on anything, whether it be a bridge or a skyway or a building or a stadium.
Right. You can, and the question is whether that makes sense. For example, I'm sitting in traffic in Chicago. I just had the privilege of paying $3.25 a gallon to fill up my SUV for the second time today. I'm stuck in traffic for 20 minutes, and now I pull up to the toll booth, and I have the privilege of paying $4 at the Tostitos corn chip toll. Okay, what I'm thinking, what is the higher emotional end benefit that I'm receiving? I don't think I'm thinking about, my mouth is not watering for a Doritos corn chip, maybe never. So that's an example of I get attention and awareness, but it's not necessarily a good thing. I think if a company wants to put its brand name on something, they should buy a hospital for kids with cancer and put their name on that.
What about if other things come up for sale, though? I mean, what if someone could just literally own the naming rights to the city of Chicago?
You mean, or if, for example, if we start going to the Pizza Hut Washington Monument?
The Pizza Hut Washington Monument, that sounds almost wrong.
I think society it gets to societal issues, and there's a raging debate about this. I think society has to decide, where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line between crass commercialism and what makes sense? I mean, everybody believes that commercialism is okay, but there clearly is a line that needs to be drawn. And there was a huge controversy in Denver when they changed the name of Mile High Stadium, for example. I mean, people hated it. And I think the company that put its name on that got as much bad awareness as they got good awareness.
And, of course, there's always the curse of the stadiums. We're looking at some of them there. I mean, some of those names are rather illustrious, we could say. Enron owned a stadium.
Yeah,
we all know what happened there. I mean, perhaps it is a curse.
Isn't that terrific? Absolutely. And it's also a curse when I think you have your, stadiums used to be named, they were the public forums. They were named for great heroes of the Republic, or they were named to honor someone. And the stadium belonged to us as the people. When you put your corporate name up there, all of a sudden you're saying, no, it belongs to me, the corporation, and now I'm giving you the privilege to come here. So if I go to Bank America Stadium, for example, I look at that brand and I'm thinking, this is like they just charged me $35 for an overdraft stadium. So it's not always a good thing.
All right, so you're saying unless it's going to be something that really is broadly considered good for the public, naming a hospital, for example, you would... Right. You would stay away.
I don't think, frankly, anybody changes their brand preferences based on a name on a stadium. I think part of the other backlash is against the greed in corporate America, particularly CEO compensation. And I think it's transparent to people that putting your name on a stadium is something that makes a CEO feel real darn good, but I don't know it does much for the brand.
Bill, we appreciate your joining us.
Thank you.
All right, Bill Schley there. And, of course, keep in mind, only $3 million for the Chicago Skyway. Some individuals, no doubt, watching this show could go ahead and slap their name up there as well.